Hey guys, so today I want to make another video on Tryptych. It's probably going to be a pretty short one, but I just wanted to mention this if you weren't aware of it. Basically, what Tryptych does is it improves an aspect of Monero's privacy, specifically ring signatures. If you're not aware of how Monero ring signatures work, it's basically something like this. So when you sign a transaction with Monero, you sign it with 10 decoys. And what a decoy is basically somebody who has sent a transaction in the past on Monero. So you will sign it along with 10 others, and it's really tough to figure out which of those 11 total signers is the actual real signer. Now, on top of that, each signer that has signed the transaction that they signed also has 11 signers. So it's kind of like this compounding thing that just expands over time and makes it more and more anonymous. And what Tryptych basically does, this is what a 4-person signing ring signature would look like. Monero has 11 people. Only one of them is the true one. So you have a less than 10% chance of just guessing. But the Monero devs were like, okay, that's too high. Less than 10% is still too high. So what are we going to do? Basically, what happened was we got bulletproofs, we got CL SAG. I think ML SAG came before CL SAG. I don't remember. But basically, what this stuff means is that it's making the Monero blockchain small, not grow as quickly. So right here it says they grow very slowly, logarithmically, basically, as the transaction on an anonymity set increases. So part of the problem why we couldn't add such a large amount of signers to a transaction, technically it was possible to add more, and actually in the past you were able to actually select how many signers you wanted to have on your transaction. But because of that, because of the ability to select, it actually kind of sets you apart from everybody else. So it's better to have everybody do the same thing and be completely homogenous, because that makes it even more difficult to determine who has done this, right? And keep in mind, ring signatures are not the only thing that keep Monero private. I mean, Monero's got all kinds of stuff. They've got stealth addresses, ring CT, which is not the same as ring signatures, tons of other stuff I've talked about in some other videos. That's not what this video is about, but this is just a part of what makes Monero anonymous. All right, so right here it's actually got the preprint if you care to look into that, proof of concept code in Python and C++. The reason why we want to increase the amount of signers on a transaction is because if somebody happens to find out 6 or 7 or 8 of the signers of your particular transaction, they can then guess with a fairly high probability which is yours. Now, there's a lot of nuance to this as well, because your transaction is going to be included into other people's rings every time, every so often as well. So it's going to be hard for them to determine which is being spent. Like, none of this stuff is 100% with Monero. It's all a guess. Nothing can be deterministically traced on Monero, but this just improves it. So this is actually a article that got put out by Monero Outreach. I will put this in the description along with everything else I talk about, so you can go ahead and read through this if you'd like to. I was going to talk about, where is it? Okay, here we go. So this is a normal Monero, this is a Tryptych Monero transaction with the ring members shown here. So I believe this was done on the testnet or something, not entirely sure, but you can actually do this with the Monero Block Explorer if you would like. You can put in an address and then put in I think it was testnet, because I believe testnet addresses start with a 5. See, that's different. Most normal Monero addresses start with a 4, so it's not mainnet, obviously. But you put in a primary address and then your view key, and then it'll show you the transactions and all the ring members. So in this one, each one of these lines is a ring member. So we can go all the way down to the bottom, and you can see, there's 127, but it starts at 0, so technically there's 128. And this is the same transaction size as what we currently have right now with only 11 signers. So this will drastically improve any sort of tracing that anybody is able to do right now, which is probably fairly minor, is going to be completely blown out of the water by this, because every single transaction that is sent has 127 other possible spenders besides yourself. And I don't know what the math is on that. Let's see. 1 out of 127. Okay, so you get 0.7% to guess it right. That's pretty low. And this, again, is not even the whole story, because each transaction also has another 128 signers. So it's just going to get even lower and lower and lower. Every time there's another transaction, it's just going to get, even more hard to trace and even more difficult. So yeah, this, Monero is always trying to improve the privacy. Privacy isn't really something, at least at this point, that you can just do and, be done with. It's an arms race. It's constantly got to be improved. You've constantly got to stay one step ahead of these people that are trying to trace you. We've got CipherTrace trying to trace Monero. We've got the IRS putting out bounties and stuff. So it's not like there's not an incentive to do this. There is an incentive. People are actively trying to de-anonymize Monero, and this is just making it stronger. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I've got a new channel up on Library or Odyssey. It's at Monero_education, capital M, capital E. If you don't know what that is, it's a cool alternative video platform that's just starting out. Kind of like YouTube, but I think it's better. So if that sounds kind of cool, check that out, definitely. I'll be uploading all my videos there as well. So yeah, like I said, all links will be in the description if you wish to look at anything, and I hope you learned something.